Hi, everybody. I'm Dana Brooks, and you are watching another episode of the EmPower Hour brought to you by the EmPower Plant. We have a great show for you today, and we are talking about a very fixable, solvable problem that so many women and girls have all over the place, but we're going to talk about it in North Florida, and that is ending period poverty. What do I mean by that? Having to pay for sanitary products. At least don't pay taxes on them anymore, and I'll talk about that later. But we shouldn't be paying for them at all. It's a very beneficial fact of life. It's a very beneficial part of biology. It keeps our species from going extinct, and it's already burdened by women are already burdened by it, obviously. And the thought that you have to pay money to keep other people safe just seems kind of ridiculous. And so there's a lot of people who finally said, this is quite enough. This is quite enough. Women are making what, 70 something cents for every dollar a man makes. And then I got to spend that money on something that is, in some states still considered a luxury, for goodness sake. No, menstruation is not at all like a 90-minute hot stone massage for anybody who's not experienced it. Please trust me. And the fact that you would be taxed, the fact that you have to come out of pocket to pay for things like that is outrageous. And so a lot of us have gotten together and said, this is quite enough. And we're enlisting the support of other business leaders and legislators. We would like to see some people really step up and get behind this and help us out here. But I've got a great guest. I've got two great guests. This is another one of those episodes where you get to hear from a couple of people. And so I want to start with a young woman, and I've forgotten honestly how she got to me, but she's been in our life here at Basic Brooks, and we've been supporting her efforts. Her name is Amaya Waymon, and she is a 11th grader at Rickards High School. And she decided on her own that she was going to take on this project. And she created a project called the Girl Flow. And I found out about it and got super excited. So did my law partners, and we wanted to help her. So Amaya, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about your project.
Thank you, Miss Dana. As Miss Dana said, I'm a rising junior at Rickards High School, and I started the Girl Flow back in September, which is about to come back around now, and it's about to be a year of the Girl Flow, just continuing to more success. So I started the Girl Flow because I was a part of a club and we had to do service hours, and we were in the food pantry, and I saw how we were having food for those students who may be experienced by homelessness and may not be able to speak up about it. So I thought girls also need feminine hygiene products. So that's why I started to think more about it, started to put ideas together, and soon created my project. And I also wanted to do it because of me being at a Title I school and also having friends and peers who are at other Title I schools in the area, and wanted to make sure that they had access to those products as well.
What is a Title I school?
A Title I school is a school that's just in underserved populations, or a school that doesn't receive as much access than the other schools do.
Gotcha. Well, thank you. And I want to talk more about your project and what we are partnering with you on and putting those dispensers into the schools, and what we're going to do this Saturday for the drive to collect the products that we need to put into the dispensers. So we'll get back to that. But thank you for joining us today. We also have a wonderful guest today. We have Audrey Moran, and she is in Jacksonville. She's a lawyer in Jacksonville, and she is on the board, I believe, right, of the Renewing Dignity Project. Tell us about that. Welcome, Audrey, and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're excited about this, because I bet, like me, you don't need those products anymore. So why do you care?
So, Dana, I think this is such an important project for everyone, men and women included, because it's really a issue of equity, it's an issue of fairness, and it's an issue of good health. Jan Healy is the founder of Renewing Dignity, which is the organization in Jacksonville that is sort of spearheading advocacy for period products for women and girls. And when I heard about the work that she was doing, I approached Jan and said, listen, I work on lots of projects that are probably problems that won't be solved in my lifetime. This is something we can solve in my lifetime. I want to be part of this. And so joined her on the initial board of directors, and we have been working hard to distribute free period products to women and girls who find themselves in homeless shelters, who find themselves in Title I schools, working with the Chamber of Commerce to talk about how businesses can provide free period products for their female employees, and really making sure that people have access. You know, the numbers are really staggering when you hear them. When you hear that 1 in 5 women miss work because they don't have access to period products, 1 in 5 girls miss school because they don't have access. Those numbers are staggering.
And is there anything that holds girls back worse than their lack of education?
Nothing. And, you know, so this is an issue that touches really kind of every hot button, right? So it's an economic development issue. It's a public health issue. It's a fairness and equity issue. And so it's an issue that I've found when you talk to men and women alike, they, first of all, can't believe the extent of the problem. And second of all, want to help get it solved. So it's, Amaya, you're amazing that you at your age are leading this effort. And Brooks is amazing for taking the lead in Tallahassee to say, listen, we can solve this as well. And the energy behind the project is just really wonderful and inspirational.
It is fascinating. And I love it too. Audrey, you're also a woman lawyer. All of us on our panel, you know, we're women lawyers working with women lawyers. And you know, so many times, what do they say? What's that saying? You want something done, give it to a busy person.
That's right. If you have something that has no budget and no time, give it to women and they'll do it.
Give it to women and they will make a total thing.
That's right. That's right. I found that's always true.
I do love that about us. But I don't like us getting dumped on like we usually do, but we back clean up a lot. I want to introduce our panel real quick. Today, we've got Kia Thomas. She is our public relations director. Actually, I give her a different title every week. And so I think she really comes on this show just to find out what my expectations of her are.
It's your job this week.
This week she's PR. Hey, Kia, what are your thoughts? You've met Amaya and you are putting together one heck of a project this week with our other marketing staff, and we'll come back around to it, but just tell everybody why this is important to you.
Oh my God. I mean, like you stated with the statistics, no person should, woman, man, whoever should have to go through something like this. And like you stated, we want to be pivotal in trying to solve something, right? That's what lawyers do. You solve problems. I'm not a lawyer, but I am in PR. So it's a part of lawyering.
Yes, you're in your case every day.
Yes. So I'm just looking at this whole, you know, scenario and crisis that it's something is solvable. And we got behind it the moment Dana said what it was, to make it bigger than what it is, so that people understand that this is something big and everybody needs to be a part of it. You know, this is called the EmPower Plant, and we need to have empowered men, boys, women, and girls supporting in this project. So that's one of the biggest things we're going to be doing for this back to school drive this Saturday.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that, because that is super exciting, y'all, and we need your help, community. And I want to do something like this in Jacksonville too. So you're gonna get sick of seeing us.
Exactly.
Rose, welcome, Rose Caswick. Rose Caswick has been in the trenches as a trial lawyer for the past several weeks. She and my law partner, Jimmy Fasig, just tried a very, very significant trucking accident case out of town. And that's a lot of work. I don't think anybody really understands how much work goes into trying a case unless you've done it. But this one was particularly difficult because it involved the loss of our client's only child. And so, you know, all the intellectual stuff is hard, but the gut stuff was really hard. So Rose, welcome back. We are glad to have you back. And we are very glad to have you reintroduce the drink of the day. What are we having? Welcome. And what are we having?
Our drink this week was inspired by the actress Daryl Hannah, who's also a big environmental activist. She was against the pipeline, the Keystone XL and all that stuff. And
she was a mermaid. Of course she would be.
It's a Bloody Mary, because you let me pick the drink the week we're talking about periods. So
I love it. Apropos. Let's remember one thing. Don't be afraid with periods. That's another thing. People act like, oh, I can't talk about it. Well, it's not going anywhere. It's not like you can hide it. There's no shame in it. But, you know, so many girls and women, there's a lot of shame associated with something they can't opt out of. It's highly beneficial. why are you ashamed? But I can't tell you how many times when I was in high school, somebody would have an accident and it was just so humiliated. And you know what happened? They left school.
Yeah.
Nope.
They left school to take care of that. You don't see that happening to boys, you know? And so that's just, when you really think about it, like you said, Audrey, the equity component of it is just not fair that women are overburdened with this. And if you already have a limited income, my God, the thought that you're spending money on things like this is just insane. And it is something that disproportionately affects women and girls, no matter what's going on with them. But I want to talk, first of all, about why Facing Brooks is behind this. About, I don't remember how long ago it was, Rose. When did we sue the governor?
Several years, 3 or 4 years ago, something like
I
that.
bet it was longer than that. We got the opportunity. Someone called us and said, we would like for you to kind of be the face of this lawsuit to stop taxing feminine products in the state of Florida. And I thought to myself, we're taxing them? Because, you know, we don't tax groceries in our state. And so I thought, well, why are they taxed? And then I looked into it and it was like, they're not only taxed, they're taxed as luxury items,
Other
which I
classified,
found
yeah.
just infinitely offensive. And the way the state of Florida had switched that responsibility from agency to agency, department to department, they really bastardized it. And it was very difficult to tease out, you know, why this came to be. And so Rose and I enthusiastically joined this lawsuit and this fight. Also by some, we were contacted by some Jacksonville lawyers, Brian Dowdy, right, Rose?
Yep, Brian
And
Downey.
yeah. So, and I said, sure. And so we put our PR machine behind it. We were press release. I got interviewed by people all over the world, honestly, women law professors, people in Scotland, all kind of stuff. And we tried to bring as much attention to it as we could, because guess what? The taxes on sanitary products was generating an income for the state of Florida. About $15 million a year, if I recall.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Because it affects like 3.8 million women. Yeah, it was in 2017 that we sued. So anyway, our lawsuit, believe it or not, was not successful. Like I said, because the legal issues were very unclear. But what we did use effectively was shame. Don't ever underestimate the power of shame when used strategically and for good cause. And what happened was there was a couple of women legislators who, like me, were blissful in their ignorance and didn't realize this was even happening. So this was an easy sell. The minute they found out this was happening, $15 million worth of revenue to the state as big as Florida, negligible. So they can do without that. And then they realize, my gosh, you're doing this on the back of people who are already not, you know, fighting for equal pay, and they're already dipping into their pockets, you know, to the tune of that kind of money. No, it's utterly ridiculous. So what those two legislators, those two female legislators, they pushed this through. Lauren Book was one of them, and I want to give credit to the other one. I apologize if she ever sees this. Please put your name out there. But anyway, they changed the law, and so we didn't make a dime off of it, but that's okay, because we are risk takers and we're world changers, and that's all good. But the women in this state did appreciate some more money in their pocketbooks that they're not spending on that kind of taxing. But so many places now are looking at making these products free entirely. Scotland, the entire country of Scotland, free sanitary products now. They're free in federal prisons. They're not free, however, in state prisons, and that's where most women are incarcerated. Do you understand the indignity that some of these women experience? Now, they've done something wrong, they've been convicted, they're or plead out or whatever, they're in jail for a reason, but nobody said you have to add humiliation onto that. In fact, there's constitutional arguments that you can't do things like that. But these women, if they were not indigent, meaning they had less than a very nominal amount of money in their canteen account, they were given like 5 sanitary products to last for their entire period, which, as you know, can be anywhere from 5 to 7 days and flow ranges. And these women would have to use those things, or they'd have to buy them, or they'd have to barter for them. And it resulted in some women using, you know, notebook paper to clean themselves, or to use as a makeshift tampon. That there's no dignity in that. And then that is not part of the retribution, or that's not part of them paying back their debt to society. So that kind of thing has to stop. And we still have that in state prisons. We're trying to work on that. And then we think about women and girls in these schools that are already fighting for every dollar that they get. And then these girls are having to trade food and lunch money and stuff like that for just basic products that they need. And I'm sick of it. I'm over it. So Amaya, when you came to me, you told me about your project, I couldn't get behind it fast enough. So tell us about your project, what you're doing, and what kind of help you need. We'll talk about the dispensers and where they're going, all that kind of stuff.
So I'm really looking forward to the dispensers being in the restrooms this year, because I just know it's gonna make a difference. And once they're actually placed in there, I'm gonna be so ecstatic. And overall, I just found out that when I saw that need, I knew that I had to make sure that everything was accessible and available, because it meant something to me for the girls that lack access, as well as the girls that simply just have an emergency. Because I've been fortunate to have it where I could have a parent or someone bring me products, but everyone doesn't have that. And then I have been fortunate to the point where I haven't had to miss class for it. And I wanted to make a difference with that.
And think about this. This is another economic impact argument. When we have accidents, a lot of times you go home, you miss school for that. What about cramps? Not everybody has an easy time with a period. I remember working with and going to school with some girls, it was debilitating for them. And they would miss as much as 2 or 3 days of school a month over something like that. Do you have any idea of the cumulative impact on your education for things like that? Or what if you're working? What if you're a single mom? What if your income matters to your household? And overwhelmingly, women's incomes matter nowadays, even if they're not single parents. You're burning through your sick leave more than a man is. That's like a taking, honestly, to me. I mean, Audrey, you know what I'm talking about as a lawyer. Rose, you do too. That feels like a taking to me, because it's something that's disproportionately affecting women that men don't have. Men don't you burn through their sick leave, paid time off, because of period cramps every month, or because they've got to go to a doctor because they've got endometriosis or fibroids or any of those sorts of things. That already disproportionately affects women. And there's just no commensurate equalizer and those sorts of things. So to me, the minimum we should do is not make these people come out of pocket for these products. So Amaya came to us and she wanted a sponsor. This was her school project. This was a school project. She could have, picked anything, and then instead she chose to help other young women in school. But there's dispensers now in Leon County, right? In all the Title I schools, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and so Basic Brooks was glad to get behind that. And so this weekend, though, this Saturday, we are going to do something to gather all the products to go in those dispensers. And so Kia, tell us about the big event we've got Saturday. Here we got food trucks, we got everything. Tell them all about it, get them all turned on. Tell them our address, where we're going, everything.
So this Saturday, you say repetition. They say if you say it, it'll keep coming. We'll be here at the Basic Brooks parking lot, right next to the SunTrust building, which is where we are. We will have food trucks. We will have some great entertainment, some amazing speakers, the Omega Lamplighters. We're also going to have I want to say Raiders, the Rickards girls not the cheer team, the Golden Dolls, they will be here. Keisha's Kitchen, we will also have Ryder's Water Ice, along with Sweet Tooth Treats. There also will be collecting donations as well, of course. So it'll be a line where you'll be able to come straight through, either staying in your car or just coming on out and enjoying everything with us. We'll also have Cheer Nation. We'll have Dynamic Explosion Cheer. There is going to be a lot going on for our girls and our boys. We thought it was necessary that we got all of the different organizations, whether it was boys or girls, connected to all of this, because we need our boys to support us, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't want them to look down on saying this is an embarrassing, situation. I definitely want my son to be able to support my daughters and saying, listen, hey, something's going on, let me pull you away, or something if they see that. So that's on the educational level. We'll have some doulas out here. We will also have some family practice doctors that will be here to provide some educational information and to also give them, info if they need to, get information regarding their bodies and different things that's going on. So it's going to be a lot, guys, and we are imploring the community to come out and support 3522 Thomasville Road. We will be right out there on the corner. We are across the street right now where it says Spirit Halloween, but of course, it's right next to Fresh Market across from Panera. Again, 11 to 4, we will be here and it'll be a lot going on all day. Amaya, did you want to add on to that?
I'm just looking forward to everyone to come out, and I hope you all continue to tell others, because it takes all of us to put an end to period poverty in all schools and to put an end to period poverty in the world.
Yes, we do. And when we need to do that, because it is period poverty. There are people who, think about it. Think about a limited income. And how much does a box of tampons cost right now?
The real good organic ones, they're $8. The ones that are just the Target or Walmart brand, you're looking at between still $5 to $6. But then you're also looking at the $3 ones, which only give you about 10. So good luck with that.
That's just ridiculous. It's like having it. It's just ridiculous. I just can't get my head around it. But I want to take a minute to welcome Carrie Roan. Carrie Roan is hustling. Every day she's hustling.
Hi guys, nice to be here. Hi Maya.
Carrie,
Hi,
what are your
Audrey.
thoughts on this? You know how I feel about it. What's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I didn't know really anything about it, Dana, until the firm did the litigation a few years ago to get rid of the tampon tax, and I thought that was really interesting. And then I've been learning a lot about what Amaya is doing, and can't wait to be involved Saturday. I think if the guys watching this will have to pardon me for a second, but I think if guys got their periods, this would never be even an issue. I mean, why should they have to pay for period products, But it's just, it never seems to be at the forefront of anybody's mind until just recently. So I applaud Audrey and Amaya. I applaud you guys for taking up the reins of the issue and running with it and making the change. It's huge.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to start. Just like anything else, somebody's got to go first, and then you get this wave of momentum behind you. And I believe that the time for this issue has come. 100%. Audrey, let's get to you. Audrey, you are a lawyer. You are in Jacksonville, part of the board for Renewing Dignity. Say more about the efforts over there, what people can do to help. Just inform us.
So one of the things that I want to comment on is I love this idea that you're pushing that period products should be free. I mean, that is bold. One of the things that we're pushing for here in Jacksonville is for, at a minimum, period products to be covered by SNAP benefits, food stamps.
100%.
To me, it is outrageous that families that need to make ends meet by having food stamps cannot use those dollars for period products. It doesn't make any sense. It is completely wrong, and it is completely fixable. So
there's nothing rational about that. Nothing rational about that.
Pardon me?
There's nothing rational about that.
That's exactly right. And the idea that a family who is working hard to keep food on the table and keep their jobs, keep their kids in school, face this obstacle that, as you said, is completely irrational, we can fix that, and we must fix that. So our first goal is, how do we, number one, like Amaya is doing, how do we get period products first into our Title I schools and then into all of our schools?
Me too.
How do we encourage employers through our work with the Chamber of Commerce to really provide period products for all of their employees? And how do we go ahead and make sure that the federal government understands that they need to change the law on food stamps to really allow those to be covered as well? So lots of different irons in the fire. I think there is a lot of interest in this once people understand the facts, when people understand the numbers. I mean, I have not talked about this issue with anyone, man or woman, that once they hear what's really happening, first of all, they can't believe it. And second of all, they say, what can we do to help? So this is really, applaud Basic Brooks for really taking the lead on this in Tallahassee and then continuing. I know you've opened an office here in Jacksonville. Welcome. We need your advocacy. We need people standing up and saying this isn't right. And for me, this is something that once we just get the momentum things will begin falling in line, and people will look back, I hope, in 3 years and go, how was this ever an issue? How was this ever a problem? Because we will have solved it.
Yeah. Now you said some of the solutions you're looking for. Well, let me strike that. I feel like a lawyer. Strike that. That's lawyer code for let me start over. So, Audrey, tell me the efforts that you're doing there. Who are you partnering with? I think you said something about a local food bank. So tell me first about the efforts.
So we are a small 501c3. We don't have any staff. We're all volunteers.
Yeah.
And while we were able to raise money fairly successfully, distributing products seemed to be a barrier for us, unless they were in the back of my SUV. That's not necessarily the best way to distribute. So we've then worked with our Feeding Northeast Florida, which is a very large food bank here in Jacksonville, to say, listen, where you're delivering food, these people are going to need period products as well. Yeah. And the woman, Susan King, who runs Feeding Northeast Florida, is a hero to me and so many others. And she said, absolutely, load up the trucks. Mm-hmm. And so they now distribute to homeless shelters and other places period products for us for free. And that is such a wonderful way, because we already know these people need those products. The food banks need those products. The homeless shelters need those products, and we need to be able to provide them. So, the good news is people want to give to this project, and for people to get involved, writing a check is really helpful, because at this point in time, these products cost money. And so to get them in the hands of people who need them, we need dollars to get that. And then we need advocacy. We need people, especially in a Republican controlled legislature, in Tallahassee, to have advocates from the Republican side to say, listen, we really, really need to fix these problems for all of the state of Florida. And, in my book, I think Casey DeSantis, this would be a fabulous issue for her. I think she could help her husband, who is struggling in some ways right now, by really coming on board as a heroine on this issue and really being an advocate and a voice for people who need her voice. We've got people talking to her about that. I'm hopeful she'll say yes. I mean, you know what? I worked for a man for a long, long time who used to say, imagine what we can accomplish if we stop worrying about who gets the credit.
100%.
And it's a great way to live. And so, I think the more people we get on board, and the more, because women are so good about collaborating and coming together and not worrying about the credit, we can fix this. And so that's the work we're doing in Jacksonville.
Now, I will tell you this. My logo is on those dispensers. I want you to remember, Dana Brooks, if anybody gets hurt, okay?
Well, that's okay. That's fine with me.
Be a good person and a good business owner at the same time.
Oh, absolutely right. That's social responsibility at its finest.
Those are not mutually exclusive. Remember, Dana's that nice lady.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right. Rose, what do you think? I mean, you are probably, you and Kia, other than Amaya, are some of the youngest people on the panel. Do you remember any experiences like this where you think it could have been a good idea when you were growing up to have had those dispensers and had those products to be free?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I applaud Amaya, especially being in high school, because back then everyone was just embarrassed about it. You would tuck your tampon in your pocket, or because you just didn't want people to know. Ew. And so to have a source of a resource for that, if you're surprised or just whatever, you don't have to go asking around, does anybody have a tampon? Forget the period poverty aspect of it. Just the embarrassment of it would keep people from doing what they need to do for themselves. And so to literally not be able to afford access to them is a whole nother layer. And I was thinking about it while we're sitting here, I think it maybe rubs some people the wrong way, oh, you want something for free. But you think about every business, every government entity, government facility that has a public restroom, they're giving out toilet paper, soap.
Nobody charges you for the toilet paper or the hand towel or the
and now during the pandemic, everyone's giving out free masks. We can't put a box of tampons in the bathroom. Are you kidding me?
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
It affects only one half of the population.
Yeah. No, it's and everybody laughs about it. And they're like, if men had periods, first of all, there wouldn't be that many of us. Because I think a lot of them would go, what takes care of hysterectomy? Sign me up right now. I don't want to do this anymore. So it's like I said, it's a very beneficial fact of life when women menstruate and have periods and have the ability to get pregnant and carry children and nurse their children and put good contributing members of society out into the world. That's a good thing. Women aren't getting any special benefit out of menstruating. They're already
ruining their clothes and
for all of us. So really, I got to pay for this? Really? I mean, it almost is, it's really offensive. You know, you really wonder why more people aren't revolting because of it. Carrie, you've been on a little bit and you've heard about the event that we're doing, and you've got boys. Your boys are in high school, but do you ever, talk to them about, don't give girls grief when they have periods? It's a normal thing. I mean, I don't know because I don't have boys, but I mean, how does this affect you as a boy mom?
All the time. I talk to them about it all the time. I mean, when they were little, this is really funny. When they were little, your kids shove their way into the bathroom with you all the time. When they're little, there's no privacy, and you'd be unwrapping a tampon. They'd be like, "Oh, a lollipop? Can I have a lollipop?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's a special kind of lollipop. Doesn't go in your mouth." Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't want them to ever be in a partnership or a relationship with a woman if that's what they choose to do and not understand. So I'm always very open with them about, well, now I'm in freaking menopause early, but when I wasn't, very open with them about, I don't feel well. Here's why I don't feel well. Here's why I'm cranky. This is what happens, blah, 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 blah. And now, of course, I'm like lamenting the fact that I don't get a period anymore. Sorry if this is TMI for everybody, but
no, there's no reason to say sorry. That's my point. What are you apologizing for? What'd you do?
Right. Well, and I don't keep anything from the kids. Nothing. I don't keep anything from them because it's all just normal and natural. Yeah. I tell Sebastian that he broke me when he was born, and that's why I can't have any more kids. He broke me physically. I am broken. I am broken. And it's his fault.
Mom guilt. Hashtag mom guilt.
I tell him that all the time.
Just so you know.
And I think boys need to understand there's nothing weird about taking a tampon to the bathroom. There's no reason I should have to hide it. No. I mean, if it worked for women, there would be no population on the earth whatsoever. So I don't hide it at all from them. Now I did warn I have a male paralegal, Nick, and I did warn him the other day. I was downstairs and I forgot my key to my car and I was lazy and I was on the phone and I texted him to see if he could bring it up. And I was like, ooh, you have to go into my bag and there's some things in there. He's like, don't worry about it. It's okay. So I just think women need to be completely open about it. Completely. Yeah. And I think Rose made such a great point. Everybody provides toilet paper for free. And I guarantee you the men go through toilet paper way faster than women do.
Oh my God. Yes.
So you would think they'd be able to provide us with some products for free, right?
I thought they didn't go through it that much because they never did learn how to put it back on the roll. So I thought it was just because they didn't have much contact with it and they hadn't had a lot of experience.
So no,
this is enlightening to me.
No, listen, boys wrap the toilet paper like this in their hands and they like wrap it around their head.
Emptying the roll.
Yeah, it's always the boys.
No, I think about that because, when I was growing up, and I hope Amaya, tell me it's different now. But, you just did not want to get the grief of a bunch of boys getting together on you and ganging up and, picking on you about stuff because they were just, relentless and stuff. I hope that's equalized a little bit. I hope you all have learned how to pick on them commensurately. And if you don't, I'll tell you because they've got a lot of vulnerabilities.
Got good bullying advice.
Rose and Dana are good at it. So you'll have a lot of help from Maya.
It's just funny, just as a side note, I was at a seminar with my law partner, Jimmy Basic, this last few days, and I put up this gorgeous new picture of all of our lawyers. And we have 4 women lawyers here, which is not very common. And I was telling them what their names were, and I named us Sporty Spice, Baby Spice, Posh Spice, and Rose, of course, is Scary Spice.
Nice.
But no, I like Rose. Rose is fierce, and I'm fierce. And let me tell you something. I am committed to this mission. I'm going to keep raising hell until some things change. Kia, what's up with you? What do you think? Because you've got girls, boys. You got and you got a large age range of children, don't you?
Very large.
Yeah. do you ever have them talk about periods or goof about it or chase people around with it? I used to do this with one of my husbands. I know. He was like, you know, like talk about going into your purse. They don't want to go into the purse because they're afraid of a tampon. You just run around chasing them with a tampon. And like, don't touch me. I'll still what? You think you're going to start menstruating? What do you do? So how do you address this as a parent and make sure your kids understand that this isn't frivolous? They're not trying to get something free. It's not like they're getting a free cell phone or a free popsicle or lollipop or whatever. That's something they got to have.
Because those cell phones are like $2,000. But you know, just talking, sitting down and actually making it make sense to them. You know, of course, my husband, he's like, so what do I do? What's next?
That's good though. If you just ask that, you're a good man.
Exactly. He had no choice dealing with me. Look here, sir, we're going in this head on. But you know, with my youngest, you know, we talked to her just basically saying that it's normal. I did not want her to feel as though she was embarrassed about anything. Well, I'm not going to say my youngest, it's the new baby actually. You know, telling her it's okay. She has 2 older sisters. They went through it, you know, and she was kind of seeing what they were doing. But now she's possibly going to be going into that. She's a very tall little girl. So I think with advising her that it's okay, we got her like a little period purse. It's a pouch that she puts inside of her backpack. So number one, you kind of deflate the whole feeling of actually feeling embarrassed. Yeah. So it's like you're just walking around with a purse. So we put everything that she needed essential, from wipes. And again, this may be TMI for some people who's watching, you know, extra pins. Right. We put some extra pins in there. We put the wipes, we put everything that she needs. And then I told her how she has to do it. And she was open to it. And I said, you know, if your friends ever need anything, you know, you tell them to take this purse and they could go ahead and go with it. But I think it was an easy conversation. I thank God for the husband that I do have, because he was like, okay, I just want to know what I need to do, because if you're not here, then what? Right. So it was that whole little process. But I know with each one of them, I took them when it first happened to them, we went in the bathroom, we worked it through. I showed them how to do it, how to put it on there, but it's necessary. It's a part of what they need to know. It's just like getting cut. You need to know how to handle the cut. So at the end of the day, you need to know how to handle this cut, because we bleed.
Right. Bleeding is bleeding. Okay. Yes. But I like what you're saying, because you're encouraging your daughter not just to feel empowered, you know, that she's got this covered. I got this. I'm not going to school. I'm not going to freak out. I don't have to, you know, call somebody hysterical. Right. But you're also encouraging her to be a friend to the other people. And my goodness, kids your age, Amaya, they need to learn kindness to each other. Because I don't know, that's better than it was when we were growing up, when I was growing up. But we still have a long way to go. It's still hard to be a teenager. But I like the idea of, if you are blessed, to whom much is given, much is expected. And if you are blessed and you have the money to have those sorts of things, please send your children to school with enough in case a friend has this problem, until we do fix this very fixable problem. But this has been a very popular EmPower Hour, and we've got some comments I want to get up on. Cindy, who is Amaya's mother, man, what a great mom you have, young lady. She supports you. She shows up for you. She toots your horn. She's like your own PR firm.
Yeah.
You are very lucky. If you ever run for office, the answer is yes, you're going to win. So don't do it if you don't want the job. You will win. But she said schools send book bags home with some students that have food in them. If the family needs food, certainly that family with young ladies needs products. And that's why I like what Audrey said about working with the food bank. I used to be on the board of the Second Harvest of Big Bend Food Bank here in they're in Leon County, but they serve 10 counties. And sometimes they did provide those products, because even though you don't just go to the food bank, at least in our community, and get food, they distribute it through churches, community centers, like 110, 120 other distribution sites all across these 10 counties. But so many times that is something that is needed. And when you give money to places like the food bank, they can buy more with their purchasing dollars than you can. So most of the time it's better to give them money than it is to give them a product that you have paid for, because they can get much more for the dollar than you can. But yeah, they do things like that, like backpacks for kids. You know, a lot of times they would put together a backpack with a bunch of food and products to get these kids and their families through the weekend. Because believe it or not, I hope everybody understands this now because of COVID, but before COVID, people didn't appreciate this. Lots of children get at least 2 meals and a snack a day from their school system. Okay, so it was a hunger issue when COVID sent kids home. So the same thing, those backpacks, they need to have these products in them if they're necessary. And remember your food banks for distribution and things like that. Let's see.
Exactly. That's why.
Melanie Knight, she said when she worked for the school system, she would always keep extra products. They came in handy for quite a few students and staff along the way. But guess what? How can we, with a straight face, ask our teachers to do another God blessed thing?
Poor thing.
Don't meet with the teachers. These people, oh my God, if you know a teacher, tell me I'm wrong. These people are at home at night baking food so they can take it in so their kids can eat before the FCAT test so they don't blow the test, because some of them come in hungry and can't concentrate. I mean, these teachers are social workers, they're nurses, they're counselors. Teaching is just one of many obligations they have. Please don't keep burdening our teachers. Our teachers are not the people who need to be supplying sanitary products to their co-workers and to the children under their charge. We're bigger than that. We have more resources. Stop putting things on the back of teachers, please.
Well, we provide free lunches. We provide lunches for children who can't afford lunch and breakfast. So why are tampons and other sanitary products not part of that? Amaya, do you have any experience with that at Rickards? Do you guys have free lunches there like they do at Florida High?
Yes, ma'am, we do. And that's why I'm trying to still make sure that I'm continuing this effort, because I feel like that's something that we should have. And I've had some issues, like it all hasn't been great. Like from the beginning, just starting off, reaching out to others, applying for grants. And when I was starting to email administrators and teachers to check with them first to see if I could place these products in their schools, I've had received some feedback where it's just like, we already have these items. I'm like, what? How do you all have these items and my school doesn't, or the other school doesn't? Or just them saying that, hey, I have to check and see first and then give us about a week. And then it's like, my goodness.
I'm with you, girl. I can't believe, I mean, this has not been the easiest thing putting this Girl Flow project together for us privately. It's amazing to me, bureaucracy, how it works. It's just, yeah, I've been in private practice my whole life. And so I'm looking for efficiency. I'm always looking for the cheapest, fastest, easiest way to do something, because time is money. And whenever I'm with you, Amaya, because I was like, wait a minute, I'm giving you money, I'm raising for the free project, and you're getting in my way, you're putting obstacles in the way.
Yeah.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. So basically, we
I
took
feel
this
like
on ourselves.
Sorry, I feel like some people get so focused and they get so entrenched in the process that they lose sight of the goal, and they don't want to create a process that allows you to reach the goal. They just want to create hurdles or stick to the hurdles they already have in place without thinking, how can I make this easy for everybody to reach this goal? You know?
Right.
And I feel like they almost treated Amaya differently because of her age.
Well, Audrey, I think you mentioned it. I don't know if it was pre-show or on the show, but you know, when you're not worried about who's getting credit for it, when you take off your, oh, you need to go through me because this is my status and it offends me or it disrespects me if you don't go through these channels. No, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Okay, if you can't help, okay, get out of the way and let the movers and the shakers move and shake.
Sometimes you just want to say, how can we give you money? We want to give you money.
Throw money at people sometimes. You can't
Let us.
You have to tie them in a chair and make them shove the money down their throat.
No, let us help Amaya and let us help women and let us give you money. Like, just stop.
Are you running into that at all, Audrey, over in Jacksonville, or are people kind of welcoming your efforts? What are you guys doing, and how have you been received?
Very, I have kind of not had a conversation with anyone about this without them being enthusiastic and asking how they want to help. And you know, as I'm listening to this conversation, I think one of the things that is really important as we walk down this path is this is really about human dignity. And that's really why I love the name Renewing Dignity for our nonprofit, because treating people with dignity, no matter what their life circumstances is something that is, I think, core about being a good human being.
Me too.
And it shouldn't matter what you do, who you are. Everyone at the same, it deserves that dignity. And so as we were thinking about dispensing these in schools or at food banks or at homeless shelters or in jails, having the ability to do that with a sense of dignity, having an ability to be sensitive to that we don't require students to go up to the teacher to ask for their tampon or ask for their pad. No, it's available. It's in the restroom, just like toilet paper, as we've discussed. So really being conscious about that and thinking about the dignity that goes along with something like that. We were talking about the Title I schools, and I remember vividly. So I'm 63 years old. So it was a long time ago that I was in first grade, but I remember vividly being in first grade and the teacher standing in front of the class and saying, "Who here needs free milk?" And
no one wants to raise their hand.
I remember thinking, who's going to raise their hand?
Right.
That they can't. And milk, and I remember then too, milk was 4 cents. And I can remember thinking, if I ever had the power, I would make sure nobody got embarrassed like that.
Right.
And so I really do think about that as we go through this process of providing access for women and girls, that the dignity piece of it is really important.
I think it's essential, because so much of what kind of clouds the whole experience is the shame component. It's the shame and asking for help. It's the shame and admitting that, I mean, because it's everything about it is negative. Oh, you're not prepared. You didn't know this. Oh, you can't afford it. I mean, everything about it is stigmatizing. Everything about it is
you're a mess. You're a mess.
You're a hot mess. And everything about it is going to make a girl feel less than.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's already getting all those other messages that we talk about freely. Everybody talks about all the sexist messages that we get, but then we never talk openly about the burden of menstruating. Nobody can opt out of that, not at y'all's age. It's a beneficial fact of life. I mean, I'm not doing this, I get nothing out of this period. Let me tell you something. I get nothing out of it. I'm not doing that because I like a water bottle, a hot water bottle on my belly. I don't love not being able to fit into my clothes. I don't love being cranky or, eating all my children's Lucky Charms after she goes to bed. All the things that I have done, I'm guilty of.
Yeah.
But I didn't ask for that. In fact, if somebody said, "Hey, you got your child, she's perfect. You done with your periods?" I'd be like, "Yeah, take them. I'm done with it." You can't do it. So let's just stop. Let's just stop with the stigma. Let's just stop with the shame. It doesn't get us anything. And the more you talk about something, the more you normalize it and the more accepting people are of it. So I think we need to have discussions. We need to talk about it in front of our boys. It's not a shame thing. There needs to be tampons in every bathroom, products in every bathroom that they go into. So we removed that elephant in the room that's just been keeping us all down. I hate it. Rose, what are you thinking? We're about ready to wrap up, but we got a little bit of time to do a little bit of closing. But Rose, what are you thinking? Other than, I don't want to ever have children go through this.
Well, if I could be done now, I would be.
100%.
For Amaya and for Kia, who's been working on the event for this weekend, we're asking people to come and donate and bring products, right?
Yes.
So is there any particular type of product that's particularly in demand, or just anything goes, whatever?
I know one of the biggest ones is actually honey pot, because it's more organic. Of course, we read on the side of a lot of the boxes where they're talking about toxic cotton syndrome. Think about it. A lot of our girls aren't changing those pads as much as they should because they don't have the money. Remember I said sometimes
you're exactly right.
And so you have to stretch that out for that entire week. What does that cost? Some of our girls and women can end up getting that toxic cotton syndrome. So one of the biggest things we're asking for, and Amaya, you can piggyback on this, is more of the organic type products. I know they may cost a little bit more, but until we can get this free for, all of our women and girls, that little extra $2 you were probably going to go get a big gulp or two of them. That's $2 right there that you can just add to that, or a Coke Zero, which we love here, to add to that. So if we can get the organic products, it would be great, because it will help our girls in regards to, and you get actually more in those packs actually in regards to that. So my strong suggestion is Honey Pot. They are available in Target. They're available online, and who doesn't love Target? They're also, I think they're available as well in Walmart, but if you can find any other organic products in order to ensure that our girls that are having to, you know, extend this for a long period of time or have it on longer than most of us would like, that would really help them out, because then they don't have to stress about that. But we are taking all pads, tampons, wipes, all of that.
Not a sanitary product.
Anything.
Thank you.
Now, let me ask Amaya. Now, if someone, and Audrey, you too, if someone wants to give money, someone just says, you know, I'm passionate about this, but, you know, I'm just not really a shopper, can't make it by there. How can somebody contribute money to this cause? And I'll start first with you, Amaya.
They can go to they can look up Leon County Schools Foundations, and under you can go to ways and programs, and then it'll come up and it'll say the Girl Flow Project, or they can just search up Linktree, My Girl Flow, my website, and it's also there as well if they want to make a monetary donation.
Great, because like I said, remember, you know, whenever you've got a ton of money, you can, you know, get a lot cheaper products. And honestly, if you can't do the organic, the main thing, like he is talking about, is to change them as frequently as they're supposed to be changed. That's what gets a lot of poor women in trouble. They get really sick. So this thing just snowballs. I'm already missing work. Already I'm getting into my food budget to buy these tampons. I'm trying to use one in 24 hours when I need to be using, you know, 4 maybe. And next thing I know, I'm sick. And I may not have health insurance. And I have to go to the hospital or emergency clinic, and then I'm not working and I don't get paid time off. Do you understand a period, something as simple as a period, could put someone literally into poverty? Yeah. They can, and what happens when people are poor? Who takes care of them?
Nobody.
The rest of us. They're dependent on taxpayers. So isn't it better to give people, Audrey, the dignity to be able to afford their lives, to work hard? Working 40 hours a week is all we should ask of somebody. If you can't get paid a livable wage working 40 hours a week in this country, that's a shame on the country. That's not a deficiency on your part. Yeah, and then if you can't work and you're working 2 or 3 jobs or that sort of thing, who's watching your kids? And then your kids get in trouble. And then you're blamed for the blight, you know, all the problems, the social problems, because you're not there watching your kids. Yeah. You know, come on, man. Somebody needs to stop beating up on women. It seems like we're just a punching bag for the world, and I'm tired of it, because we're really the ones that are keeping this thing going. You know, if we opted out of all the responsibility we have, utter chaos. So I'm sick of it, and we deserve a little respect, and we could use a little help, and help not with our problem, help with the problem. Right. Which is that this affects everybody. So pay your fair share is the way I look at it. Everybody needs to pay their fair share. Audrey, you're thinking.
And Dana, for the people from Northeast Florida, Jacksonville area, renewingdignity.com is an easy way to log on. And there's a donate now button. Any gift is greatly appreciated. This is small, medium, and large. Every dollar counts, and it changes lives.
It sure does. It changes lives. And when we make this something that is not a class issue, it's not a status issue, and for God's sake, not a gender issue.
It's not.
Okay?
Right.
There's nothing gender based about needing help with a biological thing that benefits everybody. You know, I'm not protecting me from my blood. I'm protecting you from it. Right. So pay your fair share. It's only right. If we were all going out to eat, you know, you would expect to pay your share. So this is no different. Right. I want to have some closing comments today. I'm going to start with you, Rose, and then we'll go to Carrie and Kia, and we'll end with our 2 guests.
I am just excited about this. I hope it gets, you know, more widespread. You know, you and I, since we worked on the tampon tax project, have had this on our hearts and minds. So the more progress we make on it, the better. And I'm excited to be a part of it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you, Rose. You're such a leader. You really are. You
try.
inspire me every day, even though I don't say it because I don't like to say nice things to people I love. You can ask our producer. Tia, what do you want to say as we wrap up today?
I think this was great for us to talk about this. Of course, it's pushing us into our weekend, and with this being one of our passion projects, we are definitely wanting to work with Renewed Dignity, hopefully where we can take over the Panhandle, then take over Florida, and then move into more legislative mandates. So that's the biggest thing that I want. I know that you want us to get behind. So we're working on that next, and be ready for it, Florida. It's coming.
Yes, and I'm going to call Casey DeSantis. I know some people who know her.
Good. Wonderful.
I'm going to get in there.
Wonderful.
I'm going to make her at least have to tell me no.
Exactly.
Good.
But that's just a new opportunity. If she says no, we'll just figure out another way.
No, that's just, that's right. That's right. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Carrie, what are your final thoughts today? And thank you for joining us. I know you had a big evening, big afternoon.
Well, I admire Audrey and Amaya so much for what they're doing. Amaya, especially you being in high school, it's so, I'm sitting here thinking about my boys, they're 14 and 16, and I wish they were doing something more like you're doing to help the community. I think that's amazing. I really do. And I admire you for that.
Thank you.
I think your future is very bright, my friend. If you're already thinking about this just in high school, I can't wait to see what you do as you grow into a young woman and a woman and an old woman like me. But I'm really excited to see your star rise. So thank you for all you're doing. And I wanted to say one more thing. I do think that they give out free condoms to men. I think you can go to any type of clinic and get free condoms. I think they give them to women too. But if we're actively giving out condoms to men and women for birth control, why aren't we actively giving out period products? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I really applaud you to Audrey and Amaya for bringing this to the forefront of everybody's minds. It's definitely been enlightening to me, and I thank you for it.
Thank you, Carrie. Let me see what somebody said. Yeah, Carrie, because when I was Amaya's age, I was all about Dana. I wasn't really aware that there were other people in the world. So, good for you for figuring that out early. Melanie, I had sons and they knew about it. I normalized it with them, and my youngest even did a health project on menopause.
All right.
That's huge. That's awesome.
Yeah. Can you believe that? Her son
I'm
did a
gonna make
project
my
on
kids do
menopause.
that. I'm gonna make my kids do that.
Where's that emoji where my top of my head blows off?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's so cool.
I love enlightened young men. Okay, let's see. Who do we have? Let's see. I wanted to hear at last from Amaya and then Audrey, and then I'm going to remind everybody about our event. So Amaya, your closing words today.
I just want to tell everyone thank you. And I'm just so ecstatic and happy and grateful that Face It Brooks is just supporting my cause. Because if it wasn't for you all, I just don't know where I would be with the Girl Flow.
You would have found somebody else.
Yeah.
You would have.
I'm looking to placing more products in the schools. I actually just ordered bags so that I can place those products in like some teachers' classrooms or in the guidance office aside from the dispensers. And I just want everybody to continue talking about this. And I also want to shout out the community and say thanks, because I saw where it's been different organizations and different events where it was just based upon period poverty and period poverty in our community, and I just know where that's from. So I just want to say thank you, and come out Saturday, support, and bring any products of any kind. No donation is too big or too small.
Yes.
That's right. Or just come out and hang with us. Just the awareness piece. We got food trucks, we got all kind of activities and stuff. Come hang with us and get turned on about this. Even if you're not in a position right now to volunteer, you are always in a position to normalize periods.
Yeah.
And remove the shame. So just support, and we'll feel the energy. You'll put the vibration out to the universe. It'll work. I promise you. Audrey, what are your final comments today? And again, thank you so much for making time to be with us.
So happy to do it. Amaya, I am honored to be on this panel with you.
You as well.
You are inspirational. I am so excited to see what the future holds for you, because you are unstoppable and you can do anything you put your mind to. So I'm going to look forward to watching what that is. And thank you to Basic Brooks for really taking the point on advocacy for this important issue. You know, in our world right now, things can seem pretty overwhelming with COVID and everything else that we're facing. And I look for bright spots, and I look for where our energy and our time and our passions can truly make a difference. And this project is one of those. We can solve period poverty. We can, I loved what you said, Dana, about Florida could be the example for the rest of the country on how to do this right. And I look forward to the day when we talk about when this was a problem and how we solved it.
Yeah. I love it. I can't wait for this to be in the rearview mirror. So thank you again to our wonderful panel, as always, Kia Thomas, Carrie Roan, Rose Caswick. I want to thank our guest, future Governor Amaya Waymon.
And president of the
You're
United
gonna
States.
claim it, Amaya.
I love it.
Yeah, she's got to be governor first. I'm gonna, or senator, and then we'll go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
baby steps, baby steps. And then attorney from Jacksonville, Audrey Moran, who was on the board of the Renewing Dignity Project over there. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you share this. This live is shareable. So I hope you share it, because this is one of the ones that we really want to get out and raise awareness, remove the shame, remove the stigma, and support our young girls and our women. They've got the weight of the world on them. They come through for us all the time, and they need some help, and this is the time to do it. It's the right thing to do. So thank you again for watching, and we will see you next Thursday at 4:30 for another edition of the EmPower Hour, brought to you by the EmPower Plant by Basic Brooks. Good day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.